you to join me today as we review a 1947 322 SIT that has been brought back to readiness, back to operation. Today on Austin's American Flyer. Now, I'm not real crazy about this staggered running that I'm seeing here, or hearing, but I don't know if part of that is just due to everything kind of working back into alignment. The fact that it's speeding up tells me it's just a matter of things kind of finding the groove. I'm not touching the throttle, but it keeps gaining RPMs. So it tells me things are running in. I'm going to give it more throttle here. This is wide open in reverse. Well, I added a thrust washer on the motor. I'm just wondering if that was enough. So we're getting something that's binding up. You can see there's engines, or the motors, yeah, right there. Motor's reaching some sort of binding. So I think this eccentric is bent in. Did you see that? I didn't give it any more throttle, but that eccentric was binding it. This one is a little bit out of sorts. I mean, everything is pretty sloppy, but you're going to have that on an engine this old. I mean, every one of these joints is loose. And that's to be expected. But let's see if I can help with some of this here. Music to my ears. There we go, folks. Surging is gone. Now, we flip it over and look at our armature. Let's go ahead and reverse it back, put it back in forward motion. Notice, now we still have a little bit, but it's not like it was. I mean, again, that's the sound of a happy motor right there. There we go. Everything's moving smoothly. There's no collisions. This main rod, I bent it just a tiny bit. It wasn't colliding, but it was rubbing against the main rod, or I don't know, the rod on the wheels, that nut. Every time it came around, it was rubbing. So we had this was bent wrong, this was bent wrong, and that was bent. So I think, and I mean, the throttle is literally at its lowest setting. Now I know it's got no resistance in the motor, but look at the motor run. Now that is a sign of a happy motor right there. A motor's not going to do that if there's any resistance, if there's anything binding. So that is, I'm pretty happy with that. Again, this is also from what year? 1947. So we can have a motor that runs this sweetly, this many miles on it. Boy, that's pretty hard to beat. I think with just a tiny bit of lubrication, we might get a little bit smoother running there. actually never had a flyer motor be able to run at this low RPMs before. That's pretty amazing. Okay. I'd say that is working great. Well, welcome to the gallery, and in this next sequence of pictures and clips, what I'd like to do is recreate, if you will, a bit of nostalgia in paying tribute to both American Flyer and the family. So what I plan to do is show you first a picture out of the 1947 American Flyer catalog, and you'll see in there an artist rendering of the cars that they sold as a set, and you will see that then in action here on the layout behind this Hudson. And there's two different variations to this set in terms of the freight side, and so I have other cars that I've restored previously that I will be putting into those consists. Unfortunately, at this point I do not have the cars that came with the set to a point where they are roadworthy yet. The third thing I want to do is try to recreate the consist that came from the family with this engine. And I was able to reproduce that with cars that I have refurbished, with one exception. I do not have a link coupler depressed center flat car with the coil load on it. I have that knuckle version, but I don't have the link. So that's the one piece you won't see as I recreate everything else. And unfortunately, I don't yet have those original cars are ready to hit the rails. So this is a substitute, and I hope that'll work for you. So the fourth and final variation of train loads on this engine will be just that, to load it up and see how well it does. One of the things you will see directly behind the engine are lighted flat cars. Again, these are substitutes because I don't have the original one back up to rail readiness. But one of the things that's interesting about the searchlight or floodlight cars is they are by far the heaviest car that Flyer made in a link variation, to my knowledge, with standard sets. Now, there might be some other exceptions to that with some of the accessories, but with regular sets, these cars are just very heavy. And so whenever you hook up one to an engine, it's got a load. If you hook up two, it's bearing down. If you hook up three, now it's really working. So I'm going to do that plus some, and we'll see how this engine does. Hope you enjoy. Well, one of the things that I've noted about this engine is it's incredibly powerful. It's got a ton of life in it. And since it is now the third one of these that I have operational, it's interesting to compare and contrast how the different ones operate. And this one makes me think of a thoroughbred racing horse. It just has immense power. In fact, much more power than it has weight. So as you saw in the last clip, it spins. That's not the case for all of the engines of this vintage that I have. But this one is very powerful, and so what fun. Thanks a lot for joining me today. I hope you found this enjoyable. And again, thank you to the family for entrusting me to work on your engine. I hope this brings you a lot of joy. And it certainly is rewarding to see it back up in operation. And while it's not been restored to factory perfection, it is very nice. And I'm very happy with how things have turned out. I hope you are too. So until next time, thank you so much. Make sure to click the bell for further updates. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. I'd love to have you come back and join me for future videos. And enjoy your American Flyer trains. And until next time, God bless. Take care. We'll see you. Bye-bye.